Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. I am absolutely delighted to have with me Mitchell Annabelle today from Post Wizard AI. How are you, Mitchell?
Very well, thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.
We didn't get you your kerfuffle cap in time, did I? I can tell there. It's the
I'm missing out desperately. No, I'll keep looking
cost
for
of
the post.
living crisis. We've obviously got back. We'll make sure we get you that next time. Mitchell, we got you guys on our radar the other day, and I learned more about it. And there was quite a few ticks in the box that I think, well, certainly we're interested with, but I think a huge amount of agents are going to want to stay tuned to what you have to say, especially, and obviously I'm being a bit of a tease here towards the end with the Love My Town feature, which I think is absolutely brilliant and unique. So there's the classic, you stick around, guys, make sure you listen to this, not least because you're going to be saving almost £1,000 if you do it right in terms of what Mitchell's kindly put out there for some people who are going to be able to be eligible for it. Can we just start, though, at the beginning? Now I've done my tease bit, Mitchell. Could you just give us a little bit of a kind of, give us a background about Post Wizard AI, obviously, and I'll mention again AI there for those people who are obviously talking about at the moment, and give us a bit about your background, just how it all started.
Yeah, no, absolutely happy to. So we over a number of years we've been looking after websites for estate and letting agents, and we're looking at them sort of watching them sort of use social media more, from that point of view, and we sort of looked at maybe trying to build a system that would help them because they were spending lots of time manually uploading stuff to Facebook, Instagram, images and photographs and such. And whereas sort of their software obviously was sending details out to Rightmove and all the portals at the click of a switch, social media, which is great and can really be a benefit, it was a bit more of a manual process.
Yeah.
So we got our heads up, thinking, and we was talking to a few clients, and we just tried to, pilot a couple of systems whereby, we from their websites we'd already imported all their property data, we got all their photographs on the system. Can we build something that will then just, in a click of a switch, make it a process, easily update their Facebook and Instagram accounts? And so we jumped through lots of hoops, went through lots of pain and tears, integrating with Meta and all that, getting all the permissions and such.
Yeah.
And we ended up with sort of a pilot sort of process whereby we're able to upload images directly from the website onto a Facebook and Instagram account. Great, saving agents loads of time. And at that stage, probably about a year and a half or so ago, we were basically sending the features and the description as part of the text of the post, so they would then go in and manually change the text and then send the post. Then probably maybe just over 12 months ago, along came ChatGPT in that respect, and we started sort of having a bit of a play around with that. And I suppose anybody who's done their initial, had a go at it and had a play around with it and done a prompt and has sort of seen what it comes back with has been pretty impressed in terms of, and so we looked at it and thought, well, actually, how can we build this into the system? Well, how can we make use of this? And so again, a bit more sweat and tears, but we got to the point whereby we're out from the AI, we're able to send it over the property description, send it over the address, the price and such. And after lots of sort of testing and such, we've now got it sort of returning back to us a really nice social media post with the title, summary of the text, automatically has a few hashtags, but also dots around the text, so a bunch of nice emojis just to to beautify the post as well.
Yeah.
And so it sort of, so we looked at that and thought, actually, absolutely, for this when we're working on the basis of working with with clients that we host their websites for, and we look, actually, can we expand this further? Can we build something that is a tool that is useful for agents whose websites we don't host and such? And so that's where Post Wizard, came about. It's probably been, as I say, maybe a year and a half longer in development. The reason sort of that plumbers get paid so much money is that the difficulty is plugging everything in together. Do you know what I mean from that point of view? Definitely. And so we've spent a lot of sweat and tears in terms of integrating software with the Wizard, then to Facebook and Instagram and such. But we think we've been through every sort of permutation of it now. So we're sort of got the challenges hopefully been met. But now we've got to the point where we can sort of open it to other agents that we don't host a website for, and we can work with any type of software.
So it can be standalone, can it? You don't know, just to be clear, you don't need to have a website through you guys. It'll work in isolation.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. And so that's probably the last sort of 6 months or so has been development, is to make it standalone. It's standalone. So it plugs in. So an agent come along. The onboarding is really straightforward. We just need their details to hook up with their software. We basically just, as long as they've got admin access to their social media, we can get the permissions, and then everything's up and running. And so basically, and as mentioned, happy to run through a very quick demo in a moment. But the idea is, initially we looked at doing sort of agents can view a list of their properties. They can choose a property, and then they can fire up and send the details over to the AI. We'll then create the post. They can review it, and they can send it. We looked and said, actually, can we simplify it and improve it even further? And so one of the things we've tried to do is put it on autopilot. And what I mean by that is, each morning the system's being updated from their software, and obviously it's able to detect that it's had a new property. And we think, okay, great, we've had a new property. We've made the assumption that it might be a good candidate for a social media post. And then on that basis, what it does is as part of the update process, if we've got a new property, it sends it off to ChatGPT automatically, requesting the social media post to be generated. And then what it does, it emails the agent. Don't need to be logged or anything. They send an email to the agent, said, we notice you've got a new property. We've drafted up a social media post for you already. Click on this link, preview it. If you're happy with it, one click, and it's off to Facebook, off to Instagram. And we've actually hooked it into Google as well. We can send us a Google post. Although Google's got one image, it's one thing that's emitted. So that's autopilot for new properties. We then thought, well, what else can we do with it? What about sold properties? And so one of the things we hooked into it is say, great, so if you sold something, could still be a good candidate for a social media post, maybe not loads of description and such, but maybe just a nice image that we sold a property.
Yeah.
So it also autopilots that as well. But then we looked and
just on that, Mitchell. So you're getting the social proof from every sale that you make as well, being echoed out into the local community.
Yeah, and absolutely into the agent's own social media, and then they got the option, and I could come on to that. They can post it onto their own social media, but we're looking to develop more standalone social media accounts for towns and such to promote the local town, and I'll come on to Love My Town bit shortly.
Yeah.
But on the sold process as well, we've also sort of looked at it and thought, actually, because one of the things that agents have potentially could improve on is requesting for reviews, getting Google reviews, for example.
Yeah.
And so what we've in that email, that autopilot email, what it also does, it drops a message to the agent, say, okay, you've sold something now. Now might be a good time to ask for a review, a Google review.
Yeah.
And at that point, there's a little form online that we can fill in. The agent puts a name, email, sends it off, and it just sends it to the buyer or the vendor, whoever they choose. Thank you for using our services. Very grateful you could click on the link below and leave us a Google review.
Nice.
And then, so we're going to call it the process basically as @ share, because when the Google review has been, 5-star review comes in, the API, the wizard imports the Google reviews from the Google database, from the business listing, and then they're able to use that to generate a social media post. And again, I can from that point of view, probably the easiest thing, if I want me to jump into a quick run through.
And whilst you're doing that, so there's a whole host of different things. So first of all, as I was listening to it, this solves this issue that agents are replete with, they've got lots they can talk about, but having the time and energy to actually sit down, create the content, then do the sharing is where, all but the very best actually fall down, isn't it? So by obviously the clues in the name with Post Wizard, I was going to say sort of automation butler, but clearly you're ahead of me on the marketing side of things there.
Sorry.
I was just going to say this angle of being able to actually relieve people of being able to do it is really, really impressive. You said in there at the beginning that you're there, obviously their properties are in there in the morning. Are you having to rekey the properties in, or have you got integrations with the CRMs at the moment? How does that happen? Or is it from websites? What does that look like?
Yeah, so it's basically, the wizard works in exactly as an agent's website would. so they won't have to worry. Once we've sort of linked it in with the software, then the website just the wizard system just refreshes automatically in the morning via the software, adding new properties, removing sold ones, and updating existing ones. And then that's the point where, as it runs that process to refresh the wizard, to refresh the list, it's at that point, if it detects a new property, the process that we're going to have a look through now to create the social media posts happens on autopilot. And what we're going to do through now, the system will say, okay, I've got a new property, let's create the social media post. Then it's emailed over to the agent. And I've got an example of an email that I can show you how that works as well.
So basically what you're looking at is you've got some form of portal or web feed pushing those through automatically, and those just on a daily basis, they're there for you to obviously have this tool take over.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But again, sort of, it's always best to stay in control. So, I mean, lots of agents work differently. Some have social media companies that are providing services for them. Some agents have people in house working for them. The idea behind this is to still work alongside those people, but just to make their life a lot simpler, and still stay in control. So AI is great, but stay in control, from that point of view. Review its work, read what it's done, tweak and change if you want to. But the idea behind it is to try and use it as a tool. Let it do the heavy lifting for you, so you can then make absolutely create social media feeds with lots of properties. But we don't want a social media presence that looks like, Rightmove, really. We want something that really gives a really proper essence of what the agent looks like, right. How it's got properties, how it presents those properties really well, information about the staff, promoting local businesses, sharing Google reviews. Just all of that stuff that invariably, more often than not, maybe even before a new vendor or a landlord's looked at the agent's website, they've probably gone onto their social media feed. Do you know what I mean? From that point of view, and had a good look.
Yeah.
So what I'll show you through now is sort of just trying to simplify that process and work alongside, the staff. And really, AI is great, and help them make the best of AI, make the most use of AI, really.
I think it was Nathan Emerson, head of Property Mark, who was at a conference the other day, and he was making the point that AI isn't going to, get rid of you, replace you. He says what it will be, though, is that the agent that uses AI effectively as a tool will be the one that, if you're not on the ball, will be the threat. And I think that's a really, really great angle, a great point of this, isn't it? It is just a tool by any other name, and it's how you use it and use it to the most effective that will determine its success or not.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's sort of it's an estate agency is a great example, because people buy from people, from that point of view. And really the idea behind it's the people to people connection is the most crucial one. And the less time you can spend typing out a social media post and, from that point of view, and spend more time, so, then hopefully it will be help, but still staying in control of what it does, and hopefully being able to sort of have a wider, deeper presence online on social media.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, Mitchell, in your hands, give us a road test.
Okay, a road test. So basically, essentially, each sort of agent is given their own username and password, and then once they've logged in, we're trying to make the sort of process as straightforward as possible. I mean, it's literally once they've logged in, they come to a really easy to use control panel.
Yeah.
From here, what we can do is we send social media posts of lots of different types. So a list of properties. There's a gallery with access to over 3 million images. I can show you that quickly as well, that we can create social media posts for. Merry Christmas and such. We can import Google reviews. I'll mention the Love My Town bit as well in a bit more detail. We can import team members and staff members, so we can carry out posts about the team as well. Upload our own photographs.
Yeah.
Manage a schedule, and we're working on the support side of things as well. But in terms of properties, within the properties tab, so what we've got here is, this is sort of the manual way of creating a social media post for a property. And literally, it is just a case of, here is the list of properties. There's imported from a software system. We can simply select one and fire up the wizard. And then what it's going to do now is the AI system. So what it's now doing is sending that property information over to ChatGPT and asking it to create the social media post for us. And what it's going to come back with, it's going to come back with the title. It's going to summarize the text. It's going to add some hashtags, and it's also going to hopefully, and we can add a few emojis throughout the text as well. So here we see it comes back pretty quick. Yeah. And here's the work it's done. A sample of photographs. So we can only send a maximum of 10. If we've got 30, then we've looked and thought, okay, let's send every third. Do you know what I mean? So we get a nice sample of the photographs. Okay. There is a way of manually changing them as well, but normally it gets a nice selection.
Nice, yeah.
And here's the proof in the pudding. Here's the text that it's created. Character field, village home with stunning open plan kitchen diner. From there, it's got the address, got the price. It's pulled in a few of the features.
Yep.
It's dropped the paragraph. It's dotted a few emojis around there as well.
Yep.
And below it's created the hashtags for us.
And sorry, so just to this, so just to be clear, that's not the agent having done this. This is the AI has pulled the information out of that intuitively.
Correct. Yes. So what we've done, so the way that ChatGPT works is it's all about prompt. The prompt you send it, it comes back with an answer. It's like having a chat, basically. And you can send any prompt and come back with any answer. And so what we've done is over time worked out what is a really good prompt that we can send it to get this answer back from it. The answer being a really nice social media post. And the prompt that we send it is, please create so we give it some context. You're a social media expert and you're going to create a social media post for this property. You're going to give it a nice title. You're going to summarize the text. You're going to add some hashtags. You're going to so all of that good stuff from there, and then it will then comes up. This is its answer. In terms of it's just answered one question, and at this stage we say to the agent, absolutely normally, and it's improving over time. Do you know what I mean? It's better than it was, 6 months ago. Better than it was a month ago. From there, but still. It's the ideal thing, that the important thing is the agent reads through it, make sure they're happy with it, from that point of view. And on here, we can tweak and we can change any information as well. And what we can also do is, obviously, when we send to Facebook, the agent can include a link back to their own property on the website.
Yep.
So there's a feature at the bottom. We thought, actually, it might be helpful for agents to be able to do that, just to go to their own website, cut and paste the link back to their website, and we can post that. So there's that option. That's an option. But we also thought, can we speed that up and help even further? Mm. So what we've also done is we've called it Homes on Social, but basically each property that goes out, we generate its own property page that we automatically link the social media post to. And here it is. So agents can either put their own link in there, or what we can now, I'll show you the link. So this is the page that the system creates automatically. Just a really nice view of a property, just like something what we'd want our website to look like. That they can scroll through the photographs. We've got all the good stuff down there. We bought the map, the floor plan, creates a really nice gallery of all the images. So it does this. So this is a link that is ready to be shared on the social media post. Or as I said, the agent can input, they can add their own link to their own website. But if all looks good, then what we're able to do is simply review the post. And what we can do there is we can click on one button at the bottom. What that's going to do, it's going to send it to Facebook, Instagram, and Google as a Google post. Alternatively, we can say, actually, I want to schedule it, and I don't want it to go today. I want it to go on Friday, whenever at 9 o'clock, and I can schedule that post. And then it's added to our schedule. And there you can see the schedules of posts that we've added to the system. And so it's a manual that's the manual way of creating social media posts. But we've got I've got a client, they managed about 200 student properties, and they wanted to create, I think it was about 30 posts for each student property and schedule them over the next 30 days. And they spent an hour or two just creating those 30 posts through there and scheduled them. And so that's sort of how that's sort of how things get created manually, where you log in, view the list, click a button, create it and review it. As I said, we can also put that on autopilot.
Yeah.
So if I just whiz on to I'll show you in terms of if I go to an email, this is an email that the agent receives in the morning. So what's happened is the system has imported the property data from their software. It's detected that a new property has been added, and it's made the assumption, might be a good candidate for a social media post.
Yeah.
And then what it will do, it will There's a link at the bottom. Actually, what I need to do is, this is a slightly different agent. So I just need to log out of this account, and then I'll show you the link on here. Then from the point of view of, they simply have a link to approve and send. If they click on that link, what it's done, the system has already created the social media post for them. So it's gone away, it's done the work, it's fired over the link. And here you can see, here's the text for them to review. So stunning 2-bedroom apartment with outstanding presentation, Nottingham, all the good stuff below. And then it's created as well that page that they can share on social media. So from that point, or that we can have their own link.
And is that essentially, Mitch? Is that essentially a just a microsite, a landing page, or?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, actually, it's a microsite. Same on social. Basically, because we've got all the property data in there already.
Yeah.
We've got the property data in there already. What we can do is, from that, we're just creating a microsite, basically a listing of their properties. That we're just saving them some time from cutting and pasting, property information. And the majority of clients that we've got using it, tend to do that from there. So it's just a case of just trying to simplify the process. I'm just going to log back into this account again. And then I'll just show you one very final thing on trying to log in under pressure. It never works.
So the demo gods are always against you.
So one thing I'll just show you on the property side of things that is really nice as well is that, if we selected, for example, 8 properties, 4, 5, 7, 8. So what we can do is we can basically do a post with a collection of properties. That what's going to happen now is the AI engine is going to create a single paragraph summary for each of those properties and create a really nice looking post. But here it is. So it's come back that we can use, and we can actually post on our own social media. We can do it on the town social media account as well. And here the work that is done. We're pleased to showcase the following properties, and what it's done, it's gone back and it's created some information for each property on there as well.
In that literally second that you took to do that, it's created essentially a collage of all those relevant properties. So let's say that was just sold recently, you could do that. But
yeah, for sure.
If you wanted to be hyper targeted, there's a really popular street or set of streets, or in a catchment area for school. Again, with just a bit of prep time on there, the system itself will create something wonderful like this that you could be absolutely hyper targeted about.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can also, so that's a single image, but we can also create on there an additional graphic that maybe is about, looking to sell your property in the area. So maybe we send two images in that way. So to all intents and purposes, sort of that's where we started from in terms of properties. Letting agents building a system that could add properties in a nice curated way that they've got control over, that maximize the use of AI to add content to Facebook, Instagram, and Google as quickly and easily as possible.
Yeah.
And then we started looking at other areas. Okay, what else could be useful? We've done all this. We've put the plumbing in place. Now we have the pipe, and we have the sort of the process in terms of being able to send information to social media. What else can we do programmatically and to try and just help the agent build a really nice, curated, varied social media presence? So one of the things, I'll head across the top, for example, in terms of sort of things we can do. So we looked initially of maybe, how about we maybe added 20, 30 nice images that agents could select every now and again and use. We then came across a system called Pexels, and it's a database of just over 3 million images. That, for example, looking at the season, we can basically search on any keyword.
Yep.
And then from that keyword, it will then return some matching images that were then free to use in a social media post. And we can choose a nice image from there.
Yep.
With the tool, normally it comes obviously different dimensions for social media. Sometimes a square image is better. So within there, we've got a quick tool that we can actually just square the image off and make it nice for social media. And then what we're able to do via the wizard, and again, we're not using AI here, we're just using sort of the system to import images and the process to add text to the post. Yep. So, for example, we could also, we can add a little bit of text onto the image, and we can move the location of that text. we can see from us. So we can edit that image quite quickly.
Yeah.
And then we can either obviously add some other information to the post, and we can post it immediately or schedule it for the 24th of December, from that point of view. And that's really opens us up in terms of sending any type of post, you know what I mean? From that point of view, in terms of top tips, seasonal posts, that
Just
sort of thing.
keep it really, really fresh. And as you said there, it's not like this is one of those stock image ones where you might pay again for the copyright and everything else here. That Pexels tool you've integrated with enables you to be as creative as you want.
Yeah, 3 million images. You can just, use them for free in that respect, and absolutely search for an image. You can, I'll just put on here. So there is the option to upload your own. So you can upload your own images, from here. So if there's a local image from here, you can upload your own image. Absolutely, to keep things, more varied as well. And that we recommend that as well every now and again, from that point of view. Shots of the office, outside the office and such. Again, to create a really nice, varied presence. What I mentioned as well, so other things we looked at, okay, what else can we do to create a really nice social media feed? And on here, what we've done is we're able to import Google reviews. So just going back one second, within the process of importing property data, what we're able to do is we're able to obviously identify new properties and therefore potentially create a social media post. What we're also able to do is detect when something's been sold. And we can make the assumption here that actually we've sold a property or we've let a property. It might be a good opportunity to ask for a Google review. Yeah. So again, putting on an autopilot without having to think about it, we can send an email to the agent saying, okay, sold a property, might be a good idea to ask for a Google review. They can click on the link in the email, and there's a little form on here. We'll just create a simple form. They just fill in somebody's name and email. And what that does, it fires off an email to them to say, thank you for using our property services. Very grateful when you get a chance if you could leave a review, and just click on the link. And from that point of view, and it can also send reminders. It manages the process of whereby, if we've got, if reviews have been asked or if they're outstanding, it can send a gentle reminder.
Okay, nice.
But once we've got the review in and we're talking the process, we're calling the process ask, get, share. So ask for a review, get the review, and then share it. And then once we've got the 5-star review in, system automatically imports it. And from that, again, on the wizard, what we're able to do is just create a really nice image from the imported Google review that we can then just share on social media. And again, we can add some text to the bottom. We can modify it. It comes with some default text, and we can post it immediately or schedule it. So that's hopefully just a really easy way of getting Google reviews out there as well.
Another big tick in terms of just that, hitting another area, isn't it? Social proof, just reiterating. What I like about all this, though, Mitchell, is it's just keeping it balanced, whether that's property, property information there, whether it's just listed, just sold. You got reviews in here. You can target specific elements of the property process, whether that's around a locale or popular street or everything else. So you're not gonna bore your audience, I think, is the critical thing here, is it? Whilst showing you are that you are the main agent in town.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that it's all about variety as well in that respect, and that's sort of why we sort of try to look at different areas we can create and share and create posts for social media, because another thing as well in terms of the social brief. So staff members. So what we're able to do is we can upload images of staff members on here as well, and we can have a set images, or we can change them. But then if we want to create a post for a staff member of staff, we can add the post, we can add some text, we can review it and change it and send it in exactly the same way. From there, and then obviously the photographs, so we can upload our own images in that respect. But then just to sort of to look at the Love My Town side of things, because we looked at it as well. And so we built a small town portal for our local town here, Southwell, during COVID, just to promote the local town to local businesses. It was free for them to list. We all had a bit of time. But then we've been about face on it really, and we've looked at, okay, well, how can we build that idea into helping agents with social media? Because we noticed that, we did a few posts. We only had sort of 20, 30 posts on there, but we had 700 or 800 followers. You know what I mean? From that point of view, which is great. And we said, well, actually, what would be really good is if we could build into the system a way for agents to really be involved in their town, be involved in promoting their high street. Because let's face it, the high street needs all the help it can get. And agents are in a great position, being sort of at, probably the first touch point, possibly for new people to move into the town. And effectively, they're selling the town. They're selling their properties, but they're selling the town as well. Everyone wants a vibrant high street that sort of the successful, that has a good variety of places that people want to visit. And so what we did is sort of within this, we built basically Love My Town area, where agents can literally add local businesses within the town portal as well. Businesses could add themselves. So I'll show you an example of a town portal that we've built for Southall, for example, and I'll show you a couple of others. And again, it can be on any domain name. But here's how it looks. This is a portal for a local town, and you can search on various things. We've got a number of shops in there. We've got a number of places to eat, and basically we've supported by the local, we're supporting some local charities. We've got the local newspaper on there as well. But also we can add sponsors to the town. So we've got the local solicitors, local estate agents sponsoring the site. Similarly, and that's the idea. The idea is sort of each town looks the same and has the same look and feel, from that point of view. So here's Golders Green, and again, sort of we've got a number of businesses on there. And here is Murray Lee's business, Dreamview, who kindly sponsored Golders Green. And on here, we sort of within here again. So we've got all the property data. We can display properties for sale as well. We've got the local shops on the high street as well. So we've got all the shops, from that point of view. And what we tried to, so we then thought, we connected the two. We thought, okay, how about connecting this time portal? We've got businesses add themselves and agents promoting the town. How can we factor that into the post wizard? And basically, what we've done is the two now sort of live on the same database. And what you're able to do is, if I refresh this page, via the Love My Town area, here are a list of businesses that are on that town portal. From that point of view, they've added themselves or the agents added them. And what we're able to do from here is we can create social media posts to promote that business. And via the wizard, again, we've recently just introduced this to work with ChatGPT. And what's happened now is we brought through the photo, but the AI system has basically created a summary of that text. It has created the post for that business. It's recognized what the type of business is. It's added some relevant emojis, from that point of view. And we tested it with a few retailers. It's come up with a social media post that they will be really happy with, and from that point of view, and promotes that business really well.
And ChatGPT obviously needs information to go off. Is it pulling that information from their websites or other sources?
Okay. So what we've done here is when the businesses add themselves to the local town portal, they're adding their address, they're adding a description, they're adding some information about themselves. And basically, that's what it's taking from. We are sending that information that they've added themselves to create this post for us. And in that way, we can sort of, we can pick any business. And so that's this is a florist, for example. So we want to create a post for the florist. And then what it will do, it will go away and it's come back with the main image. And hopefully it's put a few pictures of flowers around there for the florist, in that respect. So it's just creating, and again, we can put our own information on there as well. Sort of we're happy to promote this business and actually collaborate with local business as well, but in a really easy, efficient way. Do you know what I mean? That we're trying to, again, use AI as a tool to hopefully help the high street. Do you know what I mean? From that point of view, and in certain areas, and where we start introducing it to certain areas, there's possibly a good bit of PR for the agent, a good bit of PR for the system, hopefully, to actually say, where can we use AI to help business on the high street? Because that's essentially what this is doing, and but try and do it as simply as possible. And then just finally, what we noticed on some of the most popular posts that we did were basically where we've got a post with a collection of businesses on there. So we looked at, we're manually creating posts, for example, of creating one image with a grid of lots of businesses in there. Looks really nice.
Yeah.
And so can we build this into the system? So just to finish off, if I choose nine, and we can tweak different. So we could have a link on there that said choose 9 restaurants or choose. But then if we can remember the post we did for properties where we amalgamated a number together.
This is the flip side of it, is it?
So this is exactly the same, but for local businesses on the high street, whereby that we want to build a really nice social media post to promote those businesses. And what it's done is looked at the properties, looked at the businesses that we've got on the Love My Town system, and it's basically click of a switch, it's created this post for us that we can share on social media. A really nice montage of images, let's give a nice essence of the high street. And what it's also done, and this is where the AI comes in, is created a social media post for us that, for example, we've asked it to create a summary sentence for each business with irrelevant emojis as well. So last night I dreamt, add a touch of elegance to your look with our exquisite handcrafted jewelry. From that point of giggle and boom. So it's created a really nice, punchy marketing sentence for each business that, again, we can post straight away.
And that gets really, really powerful. First of all, that's going to be so shareable by the local community. They're going to want to obviously knock that around, and it's boosting everyone's brand. You've got that multiplier effect because every business that's included on there is going to be sharing it as well. So that's going to be really powerful. And then that ability to actually pick and choose. I mean, I'm just thinking, when people first move into their home and you send them the restaurants, or, day after Boxing Day, sick of cooking for the family, why don't you tap into one of the local restaurants in the area and save yourself the hassle? It becomes really, really quite powerful. Such a simple tool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's really what we want, sort of the guys who are looking after the social media for agents at the moment, thinking about in terms of, again, it's just a tool. It's just a tool, and it's a tool for them to use to say, how can I be more creative? And use my time, managing this agent's social media more effectively than just uploading images, creating this grid. Thinking about the text, finding the right icons for a florist. Do you know what I mean? From that point of view, let the system do that for you, and think, how can you engage in your community? How can you spend that time, curating and building a really nice, strong social media presence that is hopefully is really advantageous to your business.
Well, you just mentioned florists, so a classic example there. I think almost everyone in these local communities, certainly you'll be on sites like this, loves the idea about not just helping a Amazon or an Interflora, because that's why so many small businesses are struggling, right? So around just before Valentine's Day, whatever, sending the local florists and getting people to go direct there is, again, a really nice approach, isn't it?
No, absolutely. And we were looking at, we set up a couple of test towns as well, and we only did a couple of posts onto their social media. And there's a lot of willingness out there for people using social media to help and support their town.
Yeah.
Because we'd only done a couple of posts, and these Instagram accounts had got 300, 400, 500 followers.
Yeah.
And then from that point of view, and so I think there's a lot of goodwill to be gained, but also a lot of increased number of followers that agents can help build their own social media presence as well. From that point of view, with hopefully a varied type of content.
Yeah. Well, my colleague David Mintz, you might have seen, he was doing a talk the other day about how agents help out more in their communities than pretty much any other demographic. I think he made the point, you never see solicitors sleeping out for homeless people, or accountants doing a car boot sale or something. Agents are always at the very core of what happens in the community, and being able to back this and being able to drive it, being the conduits of this, is really, really impressive. Chris Watkins obviously talks about being the digital mayor. Well, being a digital mayor, much as I applaud it, and I think the very best agents do it. Jerry Lyons too talks about community. You've finally got a tool that enables you to do that without essentially somebody, just being almost on this full time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's really just a case of, trying to put things on autopilot where as much as possible, in that respect. And so what I mean by that is not having to think about asking a review, because everyone's got too many things to too many things to juggle. But if I could have a system that, potentially just reminded me every now and again that, oh, you've had a new property yesterday. What about popping it on social media? You can ignore it. You can delete it. Oh, you've sold something. What about asking for a review? And what we're trying to do here is, again, with Love My Town, trying to sort of to put it a little bit on autopilot. So, for example, if a new business comes in and adds themselves to it,
Yep.
then we'll let the agent know. Okay, the new business has been added here. How about sort of getting on board and promoting it?
Yeah.
We're also looking at things how we can use the town portals, and one of the things we've got on there is the ability for businesses. Again, it's free, to get on there, and we're trying to get sort of, ideally maybe one or two sponsors, and I can mention that in a moment. But maybe if they've got a job vacancy, for example, so they want to post a job opportunity, a job vacancy on there,
yeah,
then they can put that on their Love My Town portal, and we think something like that might be really nice for an agent, for example, to maybe share on their own social media a montage of 4 or 5 opportunities that are available locally, just really to help them work with the town, to build goodwill in that respect, and and not so much spend their social media time uploading photos, writing text and such, but thinking more strategically in that respect, and that's what we hope this tool will help them with, is sort of think strategically, how do I make social media really work for my business? And to all intents and purposes, of how do you really engage with somebody looking at your social media, and how do you build followers? And I think it's sort of, it's a combination of things. It's a combination of things, and some things will work, some things won't. But hopefully, the Post Wizard is a tool that will help them.
Absolutely love it. Yeah, love it. I mean, I liked it before you showed me that, but that takes it up a notch. That agents, the very very best agents, tapping into the community, showing they're part of the locale and everything else there. And I know obviously Murray from Dreamview incredibly well. There's a man who's lived and breathed it, hasn't he? His community for literally decades. So being able to, people will know Murray when he walks down the high street very well, and now they're going to see him everywhere digitally as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll touch on that as well. I mean, so Murray's been great. He's sort of been he's been sort of piloting with this, for the last 12 months or so, and we're working at the moment on basically, we're our 2nd of December, an advent calendar type of system whereby we're doing 24 posts together.
Yeah.
We're doing a bunch of posts to promote local businesses, a bunch of posts to promote properties, a bunch of posts with top tips as well in that respect.
Yeah.
From there, so through December, just to really help and promote social media, and using the tool. So you promote Dreamview and to promote Gold is Green via social media using the tool, but doing it without making industry of it, just in as simply as possible.
Yeah. Nice. It's really, really good. Well, look, thank you for taking us through that. Anything else you want to show us in here? Well, I think I've got a pretty good overview of what you're able to do. That's a really, really tight collection of really useful tools there, but all doing that job of promoting the agent and all the good stuff they're doing. And if you are a busy agent, of course, this is just another multiplier on, however many listings and sales you've got in there as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I mean, we're always sort of looking at other areas that we can plug into it, from that point of view, and getting feedback from users. Obviously, once we've got sort of we're linked up to their social media, I'm sure there's other things that will come down the line that we think actually, how can we improve on what we know, what we have at the moment, and that sort of hopefully the way forward.
Oh, I think it's an absolutely, I mean, being really honest, Mitchell, sometimes I have to be a bit guarded, but this for me is an absolute no-brainer for where it is at the moment. So where you can take this going further forwards, I think it was really, really exciting. And just talk us through, thank you for that. That's really good, Mitchell. So talk us through, I believe you've been really, really good liaising with our team here as well. So anybody can get, am I right in saying, can get a trial of the whole piece, Post Wizards set up for, was it 2 weeks, you said?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So as standard, we have sort of a 2-week trial whereby we can onboard agents, hook up their software, link up to their social media, and they can just try it out, from that point of view, with regard to their own social media. From the point of view of just running the system to create property posts, trying out the Google posts as well, the Google reviews and things. And then what we're also doing is we're trying to roll out, obviously, as a number of towns, the number of Love My Town systems as well.
Yeah.
So from the Post Wizard point of view, in terms of how it works and the costings of things, and particularly with sort of Kerfuffle users, what we're offering at the moment is normally there's a setup cost. It's normally just under £300, £295, but the setup cost is going to be free for Kerfuffle users.
Yeah.
With regards to the Post Wizard itself, it's an equivalent of £50 a month, but we just do it in 6 month chunks.
Yeah.
So we just last for a 6 month commitment in terms of that, and then at the beginning of those 6 months, we'll set a strategy together and work together. What do we want to achieve over these 6 months with your social media? And then, so that's £300 plus VAT for 6 months use of the system. And then we can just review it at 6 months, in every 6 months from that point of view. But what we're saying to agents who would like to try it out and want to try it out for 6 months, that if they're the first agent in their town, which pretty much everyone is at the moment, to try the Post Wizard, then we're happy to build a town portal for their town and add them as a sponsor of that town portal. So town sponsorship, again, it's normally £50 a month. So it's normally £600 for the year. But what we're saying is, if you want to try 2024, there's no cost. Let's just see where it goes, if it can be of use for your business. And what we'll then do is we'll add them. So each town can have more than one sponsor, maybe look for an estate agent. To estate agent, we could have a solicitor, an accountant, but we can manage it with one sponsor. And what we're saying to Kerfuffle users, if you'd like to try out the Post Wizard for 6 months, we'll build a town portal for your location, add you with the sponsor, import properties. We'll add a few businesses on there as well. So then you'll be able to start sharing those businesses on the Love My Town area, on the Post Wizard, and really sort of start engaging, with that local community, and just and try it for 12 months, from that point of view, if you want to see how it works, and hopefully it will prove to be of value. But if it doesn't work, then fine, no problem.
First of all, I've got to compliment you with generosity. Secondly, I'm going to have to say well done to our team for negotiating that. That's absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Mitchell. So that's almost £1,000 worth in savings. But actually, I think the far bigger thing here is, as we know, those companies get a lead in an area like this tend to dominate as well, don't they? So the brilliant, if you can get on there and being seen as the main proponent for sponsoring that town, there's going to be a lot of goodwill going around. So no, I really appreciate that. That sounds like a fantastic deal. So Kerfuffle members out there, get to the Post Wizard page on there, drop an inquiry over, or drop it to me directly at simon@kerfuffle.com, and we'll introduce you to Mitchell and he can take you through this. But that's absolutely brilliant. Cheers, Mitchell.
No problem. No, thank you at all. And one very final thing I forgot to mention is on the town property listings. Obviously, we're trying to push evaluations to the sponsoring agents. So there will be links to their spot. They can let us know where they want those links being directed, whether it's to be a Valpal form or a evaluation form. So we're able to just drive as many valuations to our town sponsors as possible.
Leads too as well. They look as if you could have almost have done the final prop tech pitch. One more, you only need one more listing to pay for this.
Right.
Given what you've just said there, for at least the town elements of it, you're giving it away free for the year. That's amazing. Mitchell, I am going to want to catch up with you in a few months' time because I'm really interested to see how this actually develops. But for now, thank you so much for your time today.
You're most welcome. No, thank you for your time as well. No, I really appreciate it.
Cheers, Mitchell. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.